Today we are talking about market analysis, specifically a method that is several times more effective than typical systems found on the internet. You will also learn a step-by-step action plan to help improve your analysis performance. In general, the topic of analysis is one of the most underestimated. Most people focus on price patterns, entry models, and magic indicators instead of paying attention to the quality of their analysis. So in this video, you will learn why understanding market context is your main advantage, how streetlights can help you understand top-down analysis, what imbalance indicators are, and why there are only 8, how can you analyze the market using a Notion template, and what mistakes traders make and why you might be making them too.
This is not financial advice. Trading involves risk.
It is worth starting with the fact that there is no point in trading the market until you understand what your fundamental advantage is as a trader, why you are even able to make money in the market. Mark Douglas once said,
"A competitive advantage is simply an indication of a higher probability of one outcome over another."
In other words, if you can understand what is most likely to happen in the market in the near future, you already have a competitive advantage. This is exactly where most traders fall into the trap. They start looking for answers where they do not actually exist, in the search for the perfect strategy, the perfect setup, or a tool that will deliver ultra-precise entries. But in the end, all of this leads to only one thing: even bigger losses and wasted time. A strategy is only a description of how a trader should act under certain conditions, but it does not provide an understanding of probabilities, and it does not build the ability to adapt to different market conditions, which is the source of an edge. Only an understanding of market context can do that. Now a question may come up: what is context? Put simply, it is a set of factors that determine the market's current state. It's like letters on a sheet of paper. On their own, they mean nothing. But when someone sees a word, a sentence, and the whole text, they understand the meaning. And this is where it starts to get really interesting. We move on to a market analysis method that gives a clear understanding of context. The method is based on 3 things. The first is top-down analysis. Its essence is to analyze charts sequentially, starting with the higher time frame and moving down to the lower one. You can compare it to walking down a staircase. But top-down analysis by itself will provide maximum value only when it is built on a standardized set of timeframes. In most cases, 1 month, 1 week, 1 day, 4 hours, 1 hour, 15 minutes, 5 minutes. This fits most trading styles and provides a good balance in any market conditions. But what does standardized mean? Imagine this situation. You are driving at night in a car with headlights that do not work. The goal is to get from point A to point B. Fortunately, at certain intervals, there are streetlights that illuminate parts of the road and help you find your way. But what if 3 streetlights in a row are missing? You will see nothing, and you will most likely drive into a ditch. The same goes for top-down analysis. What matters most is not which timeframes you use, but the distance between them. Each subsequent timeframe should provide enough information about price action without leaving gaps in the overall picture. Too many timeframes make the analysis more complicated. Too few and the picture becomes biased, causing you to miss important details. You need to find a balance where the trader's tools work well, align with each other, and the analysis stays simple. But without the next element, top-down analysis is practically useless. This element is called an imbalance. It is a situation where the volume of demand or supply is insufficient to maintain market equilibrium, which causes the price to rise or fall. In other words, we look at who is weak in the market right now and who is strong. This is also called a trend. Where is the price moving? Up or down? How is it moving? Aggressively or slowly? Or maybe the market is consolidating around a certain level. All of this has a direct impact on understanding the context. And now we move on to the third and final element that completes the whole chain. These are imbalance indicators. It is important to distinguish between the concept of a market imbalance itself and imbalance indicators, since the latter pinpoint where that imbalance occurred. Using them correctly is how you achieve the highest level of competitive advantage. There are 8 in total. Let's quickly go through each one and explain what it does. The first 2 are rejection as well as support and resistance. They are primary imbalance indicators because they react fastest to changes in supply and demand. In other words, price forms them immediately whenever something changes in the market. This is due to their simplicity. Rejection consists only of the wick of a single candle. Support, like resistance, consists of 2 candles. So these are 2 formations that are constantly appearing on the chart. The other 2 are rejection block and fractal point. In practice, these are also primary imbalance indicators, but they are used a bit differently and come with certain requirements. This, in turn, increases their reliability. For example, rejection block requires mandatory interaction with liquidity. and a fractal generally needs at least 3 candles to be considered valid. The next two are order block and fair value gap. These are indicators that most often confirm the validity of an imbalance, not just local price reactions to certain levels. They also take more time to form. And the last two are what I call contextual imbalance indicators, because they show the state of the market at a larger scale. These are dealing range and order flow. The difference is that dealing range shows the minimum and maximum price, while order flow shows how price got from one point to another, meaning how it was delivered. You can safely use all of these tools if you understand how they work. If you do not, you can choose a few and then gradually expand your toolkit. But in this context, you need to understand one more thing. The significance of each tool varies across different time frames. The higher the time frame, the stronger its influence. The monthly will always dominate the hourly. Finally, we move on to the last part with an action algorithm that can put everything in order. It consists of several stages and principles. But before that, we need a space where it will be convenient to save charts and write down our observations. I will demonstrate using a Notion page as an example. The first step is to analyze the charts and mark the variables that are influencing the market at the current moment. This is the monthly time frame. What do we see here? Price is inside a wide bullish fair value gap. The FVG itself is in the discount of the monthly dealing range. There is a local liquidity raid of the fractal low. You can also observe an aggressive expansion of the bearish range, which has not yet formed a minimum price as a fractal low, but it has an FVG inside it. The second step is to clearly record the facts, preferably in chronological order, from the oldest to the newest. You can see how I did it. Everything we talked about, I simply broke down into bullet points. The exact same process is repeated again, but one time frame lower. Inside the monthly bullish FVG, there is a weekly fractal low that price takes out. It is still in the formation stage because there is no final price in the form of a fractal yet, but a significant variable is still the bearish dealing range. In the premium of the potential dealing range, there is a fractal high and an order block. A weekly bullish rejection block has formed. An important aspect of this section is the absence of subjective value judgments. For example, the price tested the 1-week fractal low and now it will most likely move upward. Other than that, there are no restrictions. You can note in text any variables that you consider important at the moment. Third, after the analysis of all charts is complete, you need to write a conclusion. In it, you should mainly synthesize all the information you have gathered into one overall takeaway: the market state, the imbalance, the key variables, and so on. Personal judgments and assumptions are allowed. Here is an example of a conclusion based on only 2 timeframes. Although the bearish imbalance still persists, the price is in a strong support zone in the form of the monthly FVG. Within this FVG, there was a liquidity raid of the weekly fractal low, and as a result we got a rejection block as a primary indicator of a shift in the balance of power. Additionally, within the still unformed dealing range, there are no elements such as a fair value gap that would indicate the true strength of the sellers in this range. The price action looks more like a compression. For this reason, I believe that long positions up to the nearest opposite weekly level, in the form of the 1-week fractal high, or even up to the monthly bearish FVG, have a high probability. Most likely, at the same time, the minimum price will also be formed, setting the final boundary of the bearish dealing range, both monthly and weekly. The fourth stage is the trading plan. Here, you need to form a trading hypothesis by answering 2 main questions. Where is the price most likely to be delivered? From where could the price potentially start moving? Or where has it already started? In this section, you also need to answer the following questions. How and where will the position be opened? Where will the stop loss be placed? What are the invalidation scenarios for the trading plan? For example, the plan is to open a long position targeting the monthly FVG based on the newly formed weekly rejection block. The entry is considered via a market order with a stop loss placed beyond the local low that interacted with liquidity. Additionally, the trading plan includes a checklist of 2 questions that you need to answer before opening a position. Does the plan align with the trading strategy? Check this item if the trading plan fully follows the rules and logic of the trading strategy. If not, the plan must not be executed and needs to be revised. Is the plan objective enough? Zoom out. Check the quality of the plan by zooming out on the chart and looking at higher time frames. This helps you see the bigger picture and confirm the plan's objectivity and edge, even if it matches your strategy. This is often useful when working with lower time frames. As you can see, this scenario played out, even if not quickly. The price moved much further than expected, and we were able to open a profitable position simply with a market order, thanks to an understanding of context. No entry models were needed. This is the highest level of efficiency. Of course, for higher profits and better quality trades, you could enter on lower timeframes, but my goal here is to convey the idea itself. And the final stage. You need to run a repeat top-down analysis while saving the charts. Then answer 4 technical questions to get the most value and systematize the experience. How objective was the top-down analysis? Were all variables taken into account? Was the price hypothesis successful? If not, why? How objective and adaptive was the trading plan? What useful insights can be drawn, or what should be considered next time? The process is quite simple, and over time it delivers very strong results because it is easy to understand what was done wrong during a repeat analysis. But even here, you can make a few critical mistakes that can have a very negative impact on your trading results. The first mistake is focusing only on local variables and elements. This means the trader does not pay attention to what happened in the past on the left side of the chart, which is very important even for short-term trading. We would not have been able to predict price behavior if we had not looked at the monthly FVG. The second mistake is focusing on variables that have long since played out. This makes no sense and only wastes valuable time. For example, instead of looking at what price is doing right now, we would be marking that a raid of the monthly fractal high happened several months ago, or the fact that a monthly rejection block was tested which has absolutely no interaction with the current situation. The third mistake is quite critical: a superficial description of the chart, or no description at all. Very often, even one tiny variable you missed because of a superficial analysis can have a strong impact on pricing, which often leads to losses. To avoid this, it is worth documenting each element in detail. You can find the Notion template from this video via the link in the description completely free of charge, along with a short guide that includes all the questions on how to do top-down analysis and write a trading plan. My only request is that you support the video as much as possible. Leave a like, a comment, and share it on social media so YouTube starts promoting this channel again after a long period of inactivity.